Right, so the next thing that we want to look at is how we recognize people for their performance. And we're going to look at it using a tool. This is when we are evaluating people on their performance, on what they've accomplished. How can we stretch them to achieve more? And how can we build better enthusiasm in their team? And this begins with a process that we use when we evaluate our team. And we use the RAVE acronym. And it begins with a review of what should have happened. Right? Say every month you have a review, or every 6 months you have a review. Okay, what were we supposed to do? What was supposed to be the result of those 6 months? Right? And you said, this is what we planned on accomplishing. This was the goal. This is where we wanted to go. Okay? And then, what did we actually do? What did we actually accomplish? Okay. And in this, they refer to the monthly project list. You remember this morning when we were looking at time management, right? Your daily log, your weekly log, and your monthly project list. If you have a monthly project list with your staff, you can look back over that 6 months and have a very clear record of what you planned on doing and what you accomplished. Right? So you have a record that you can refer to. You have facts that you can refer to. Right? And then you can discuss what worked well, what didn't work well. And if something didn't work well, you can talk about why that happened. You know, what were the issues? What were the challenges? What did we need to do different? So you're focusing on the tasks and the goals and not the person. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you have the right skill? What was your problem? Right? We don't want to be saying things like that. What was the challenge? What did we need to do differently? Right? What was unexpected? What did we not plan for? What do we need to think about going forward? Right? So we can focus on the goals instead of the person. Creates a positive atmosphere. And once we've done the analysis, right, we've understood what we did well, what we didn't do well enough, right, it's clear. And then we can say, all right, so what do we do next? Right, what is the vision for the future? Where are we going? What are the changes that we need to make over the next 6 months? So you're focusing on the positive, the growth. The things that didn't work, they didn't work. They're in the past. Right? We can only correct them going forward. So as a leader, we focus on the change, the growth, the development, the positive direction that our staff can go. And we encourage the person. Right? This is something you can do. Right? This is why you're in this position. You have the skills. I trust you. Right? I really believe you've got the ability. Right? I appreciate your momentum. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate your commitment. I have no question, and I'm here to support you to make sure that we are successful going forward. And when we finish the review, at that point, our staff will be motivated. It protects the trust. It protects the relationship. Okay? Any questions about this? Again, I'm powering through here, so if something's not clear, or if you want to comment, then please do. Any questions? Any comments? Okay. Then, what should we do and what should we not do in a review? So take a look at page 4.3. Now let's run through this list. This is a very important thing to understand. First is develop a reservoir of goodwill. This means that over time you have had good communications with your staff, good relationship, you like each other, you trust each other. Right? So when you have the review, you can talk from a position of trust and confidence. Right? The opposite of that is to expect past betrayals to be forgotten. Right? If you've done something wrong to that person, they're going to remember. Right? So we have to be honest, we have to focus on what's important and recognize the relationship. And we need to spend the time and the energy to develop goodwill, a good relationship. We need to be someone who is trustworthy, which means we cannot betray confidences. Right? We can't talk behind someone's back. We can't spread rumors. Right? If we're going to review someone, we need to share the data with them beforehand, right? So that they can be prepared and they know what we're going to discuss. We should not surprise them during the review, unless it's a pleasant surprise. Right? And you've done so well over this last quarter, we're going to give you an additional bonus. Yay! Right? Pleasant surprises are good. Negative surprises are not good. Always try and start with the positive. How does that person contribute? What do you appreciate about them? What are the skills that they bring that you know are good? What have they done over the last 6 months that you recognize? Don't start off by complaining. Right? Don't nag, don't whine, don't criticize. Right? Start on the positive. Be a coach. Be someone that supports them. Be someone that wants to develop them. Do not be an adversary. Don't be an enemy. Right? As a leader, you want to encourage your team. You're not trying to cut them down. Focus on success. Right? Emphasize the good things. What have they done well? Don't talk only about failure. That's going to create a negative environment. Have data and use data. Don't use opinion. Right? Because everybody has their own opinion, and opinion cannot be verified. Use just facts. Right? Coach. Correct people. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Depersonalize the mistakes. Don't say you did this. Don't say you are not smart enough. Don't say you don't have the skills. Right? Don't humiliate the person. Right? Focus on what the tasks were, what the activities were, not the person. Let the other person save face. Don't embarrass them. Praise any improvement that you've seen in that person. Right? What have they done that's better? What have they done that you want them to continue doing? Okay? Don't ignore them. Right? Don't ignore the positive sides. Right? Expect improvement. Right? Let them know that you expect them to get better. That you expect everybody to develop new skills, to develop new abilities. Right? Don't expect miracles. Right? Don't be unfair. But expect something reasonable and expect something positive from them. Okay? Develop a mutual plan for improvement. Agree with them. What's the next step? How can we make progress? Right? Set performance standards that are appropriate to the next time period, the next 6 months. Don't just let it go and see what happens. Okay? Be focused. Be strategic. Define things in a way that you can follow. And then end on a positive note. Right? Uplifting, encouraging. Right? Don't end on a negative. Well, I certainly hope you do better next time. Right? That's not a good thing. Well, I wasn't very impressed this 6 months, so do better or you're going to lose your job. Right? That's not a positive ending. Right? So this was a challenging 6 months, but now we know what we want to do going forward. Let's focus on it. Right? I'm here to support you. I'm here to work you. I'm interested in your success. Let's work together. Right? End on a positive note. Right? And believe me, this will make your 6-month evaluations a lot more fun than they probably are now. Right? Any questions about these? I know some of these are pretty difficult, but what do you think? Okay? Now on page 4.4 and on 4.5 are planning sheets for setting goals for your staff. Right? In terms of what's the training you might want them to participate in, professional and personal, what are the different ways you can stretch this person's knowledge, their skill sets, their experience. So after the training, take a look through this. And also, what are the stretch goals for you? All right, on page 4.5 is the place for you to plan out. What are the areas where you can develop more skills, where you can, stretch yourself, push yourself to expand your knowledge base? Okay, so take a look at these after the training. And use these as a template to help organize your staff. Okay, so we've powered through all of that. We can go back to the regular pace now. Any questions? Any comments? Yes?
About the review, when the subordinate has a catastrophic result.
Yes.
For example.
Catastrophic, yes.
Yeah, you have to wait. I know you have to be positive, encourage.
Yes.
But in this case, you have to tell him, I guess, that the result was really not achieved.
Yes.
This is, there is a way to tell this kind of information, directly.
Yes.
To make them understand the message.
Yes.
And not being too negative also.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this question. Right? It's catastrophic results. Right? How over 6 months did the leader allow that person to end up with catastrophic results at the end of 6 months? Okay. So one of the questions I would ask is, why was there not enough follow-up? Why was there not enough support? Why was this not identified earlier? So one of the questions I would ask if I were in a leadership role is, where does the responsibility lie? Right? Because if this person was abandoned, right, or they were given an impossible task, right, or the market changed and yet we didn't change their expectations, right, I would want to know. I would ask those questions. So that would be one thing, to confirm, to do the research, confirm the facts. Now, if the manager did everything they could to support that person and had monthly reviews and encouraged them and coached them and sent them to training, and it was still catastrophic results, you're in a different discussion. The discussion is, do we keep this person or not? Right? And that is a different level of discussion. So, but the fundamental process is, we want you on the team, you're important, we need to find a way forward. Right? This is what the expectations were, this is what the results were, what happened? And to have that discussion. And if you have trust and a good relationship and you can get the right communication, you can identify what the problems are. Now, as a manager, as a leader, if you're in HR, you have to make a decision. Do we have the resources to correct this problem? Okay? And if you do, and if it's worth doing, and this person is worth keeping, you invest in them. If they're not worth keeping, or they need to move, it becomes an HR issue. Right? So, ideally, we can move everything in a positive direction. This is not an ideal world. So we do have situations where we have to make hard choices and hard decisions. And if you say, okay, this is what we expected of you, these were the results, what happened? And they say, well, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't clear to me. No, it was this other person's fault, because he's always doing that. And since he's always doing that, I didn't think I had to do it anyway, so it's not my fault. Okay? If they're avoiding the responsibility, then you've got a problem. Okay? And we do have techniques for dealing with that. We can't go into it today, because I don't have enough time. But that is a real situation, and we do have to handle that. And sometimes it's, no, this is what your expectations were. It was very, very clear. These are the tools you had. These are the time you had. You weren't able to accomplish this. Right? And we have data that shows, you were not focusing on this task. You were focusing on other tasks. Why did you do that? No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. No, I swear it wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. It was this person's fault. You've got a problem. And that's a different issue. But as leaders, we should be reviewing people often enough that if they're going that far off track, we can make adjustments before we have responsibility for it too. Yeah. That's very important. Thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions? Okay, so let's turn from the negative to the positive. And the final thing we're going to look at today is, how do we share the glory? Right? And what are the challenges with sharing the glory? Right? What's difficult? Why, as a manager, would you not? What would keep you from sharing the glory? Yeah, quit reading this. Can you think of an example recently where you should have recognized other people, but you didn't? You didn't praise them, you didn't thank them, you didn't give them the recognition they deserved. What happened, Mark?
I think it was a huge project.
Yes.
That's, it's finished. There's still some things to adjust.
Yes.
But it's basically done.
Yes.
And then right away we moved on to the next project.
Yes.
And it just, I just forgot about it.
Yeah. And that's so common. You're busy, you've got new priorities, right? You as soon as you finish one, the team breaks up, everybody goes different directions, right? And everybody's got different responsibilities, and you forget. Right? And then, what did you lose by forgetting?
Well, I think now I lost the time factor. I can still do it,
Yes.
but it's not as fresh.
Right? That's right. Anybody else? What are the challenges? What's difficult about giving people recognition? Right? This is Japan. Is it easy to give people recognition? Why not?
It's like culture.
Yeah.
Japanese are quite shy.
Yes.
ちょっと恥ずかしいです。
Yes.
Say I'm not too shy. So.
Yeah.
But we don't have that kind of culture
Yes.
to share the glory with others in
Right.
front of everyone.
Right.
So we tend to, how do you say, we tend not to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Very shy. It's cultural.
What are some other reasons why we don't show recognition?
I think it's easy to recognize the big achievements, the big wow.
Yes.
But and I think in Japan there's a lot of very hard-working people that do a very constant job, and they're very easy to go unnoticed.
Yes.
So I mean, sometimes they're hard to notice.
That's right. I mean, we were talking earlier about the A players, the B players, and the C players. And the B players are doing things that don't necessarily stand out. Right? The A players are targeting things that stand out. So, it's a bit more of a challenge to recognize something that the B players are doing. But it is important. Right? Any other ideas, comments? Yes? No.
I always think the recognition or appraisal is fair to everyone. So maybe the people think differently. So people receive differently.
Yes.
Probably. That's why. So if I want to place a person here, but not everybody around the person
Yes.
thinks it's right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a challenge, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
It's a challenge, isn't it? Because sometimes if you're praising someone, you're creating, a difference. But sometimes that difference is good. Right? We talked earlier about giving someone a good reputation to live up to. Wow, Arisa, what you did last week, right? When we had the problems with the team and you were out communicating with people and you were asking questions and you were researching the issue and supporting everybody in the team, that's why we got over that problem. That was really, really well done. Right? If no one else did that, you can't praise them for it. But by praising Arisa for that, everybody else can go, yep, that was pretty good, what she did. Yep, that contributed to the organization. Right? That's a good thing to try to do. Right? So we have to praise things that deserve praise. Right? And Nicholas is the guy, he's got catastrophic results. Right? How do we praise Nicholas for his catastrophic results? And what does the rest of the team think? Oh, and yes, and Nicholas, I want to thank you too for what you did. And everybody else is going, are you crazy? He sabotaged the whole event. He was the biggest problem on the team. Why are you praising him? Right? So the praise needs to be genuine and sincere. Something that people will believe.
I must know who might have helped the person.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I have to say everyone,
Yeah.
so all the department.
Yeah. So that's important, right? If we know that other people were involved, how can we praise in a way? So Arisa, that was great, and thank you all for supporting Arisa's leadership on that project. Because you supported her so effectively, we were able to make such good process. What a great teamwork. So you can praise the person and the team. And that's a very effective way to do it. Any other challenges with giving praise, recognition, that you can think of? Okay, well then let's do an exercise, right? We want to look at the process, right? When we share the glory, right, we want to be very specific about what someone's done. The more specific we are, the more impressive, the more powerful it is, right? Without Joe working 12-hour days for the last 2 weeks, the project would never have been successful. Joe, you really contributed, right? And what you contributed is clear, right? And I know it, I recognize it. Without the tireless effort of the following people, right? This person, this person, this person, and this person, we would not have been successful. So when we are giving praise and recognition, we're trying to motivate people, make them enthusiastic. So the things that we can talk about are their accomplishments, their achievements, their successes. Right? These are good things to recognize. Right? Other things we can talk about are their personality traits, their strengths, their qualities. And this recognizes what someone contributes to the team. And again, if we're specific and to the point, they're going to feel good. So the way we do this is we identify something that we want to praise. What is it? What is the strength that that person has? And then, what is an example of where they have shown that strength? Right? We used a story earlier today, right, in terms of motivating people. So what is a story that provides evidence of their strength? Right? It also tells them that you're listening and paying attention to them. And what is an example of how this quality is good, why it's beneficial, right? Why we want them to continue. Right? And then reinforce it, with a final positive statement. So what we're going to do is, again, everybody needs to take one of these cards, right? Takes just one, write your name on it. Okay, take one, write your name on it. And after you've done that, stand up and find a partner. Anybody in the room, stand up and find a partner, except me. Okay, does everybody have a partner? Okay, give your partner your card. Okay, now you can sit down again. Think about the person whose card you have. You met them today. You've seen them in this training today. What have you seen in this person that is a strength that you want to praise? Right? And so we can write this as, I like this about you. Right? So what's a good example? Shingo.
Yes, sir.
I like the fact that you talk about real experiences. And I say this, right? I like the fact that he's genuine. He talks about real experiences. And I say this because you've brought so many examples today about your relationships with people at work and the challenges that you face. Right? And it's really created a lot of clarity, and it helps us understand the issues. But I really like the fact that you're willing to be so honest about your situation. Something like that. Okay? So write a comment. Right? What is the strength that you recognize? And then what is the proof? What is the evidence that you have that supports that? So let's take about 3 minutes. Prepare that for your partner. So how do you feel now?
Happy?
Happy.
Feel pretty good?
Yeah.
Right? Dale Carnegie training, when you finish the review, end on a positive note. Right? Make sure your staff feels encouraged, they feel recognized. Right? This is a tool that we can use to do that. Okay? So looking back on today, right, we had 5 objectives. Now, how can we learn about how to transition from doing things to leading others? How do we balance people and processes and use the Dale Carnegie principles to make that happen? Right? How do we create an environment where people are cooperating and supportive and communicating? And how do we handle conflict? How do we hold ourselves? How do we hold other people accountable and maintain their motivation at the same time? Right? And then how do we use praise? How do we build it into our daily communication? Right? These are the objectives for today's programs. And these were some of the issues that we talked about at the beginning. So did we cover these? Did we cover the differences between leadership and management? Did we get over this in a way that you're comfortable with the differences and you understand why leadership is more important? Did we talk about delegation in a way that helps you understand this better? Okay, good. Did we talk about how we can be more confident? Tools that we can use to help us be more confident. Steve, I think this was that yours? To show more confidence, right? Right? Is this something that, did we talk about some tools that help you do that? Good. Did we talk about how to be more assertive? Right? I think, that was probably yours, right? How we can be on topic and focus on the business, right? And not allow relationships to get in the way of what we're doing, right? Did we look at some practical tools that helps us motivate the staff? Okay, good. Did we look at ways that we can gain better trust from our team? Yeah, we did that as well. Good. Did we talk about how we need to become a good example for our staff? We covered that as well. Did we talk about the value of pushing people's comfort zone, making them change, helping them change? Right? We powered through that there at the end, but yes, we did talk about that. How to communicate effectively, and what we need to do to understand how other people are motivated. Right? We talked about the interview, right? And talking about their goals, understanding their goals. Okay. So I think we did cover a lot of the key points that you all were interested in this morning. But in conclusion, first I would like to thank you all for your participation. Right? This course is called Step Up to Leadership. It's actually more like stepping up to bat, right? It's kind of the beginning of understanding what leadership is about and what a lot of the key issues are related to leadership. So we covered a lot of information today. So it's hard to digest all of this. And the best I can recommend to you is go back, review this manual, and pick one thing. Look at it every day or once a week and remind yourself what you learned, and then pick something. A principle, or maybe it's the time log, or maybe it's the delegation planning process. Pick something and practice it. Try it. Put it into operation and see what kind of results that you get. Right? Because all of these tools work very, very effectively, but only if you use them. Right? They don't work if they stay up here. They work if you use them and apply them. So really great participation from all of you today. Right? You focus on a very, very dense and complex and diverse topic, and yet you are all stayed with us and stayed engaged the entire time. So it's been a pleasure having you in the training today. Thank you very, very much.
You